What's good with y'all boys, man? It's your boy Prophet. We back with another video. Y'all know what time it is. Now look, I've been saying this all year, even in the preseason. The Bucks look mid. They look sorry as hell. I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is. They don't got no defense. Giannis the only one out there trying to hoop. Him and Bob. Him and Bob the only ones, really. And Bob not really finna go get his own shot, so he needs somebody to, what I'm saying, help him out and shit. But that's beside the point. The Milwaukee Bucks look old. We finna check out the vid. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Championship back in 2021, winning their first title in 50 years with their rising superstar and arguably their best player in the league at the time in Giannis Antetokounmpo, as well as a great supporting cast of players who were all in their primes like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. The sky seemed to be the limit from the Milwaukee
They
Bucks.
should have never got rid of Drew Holiday. That was the first mistake. Why would you get rid of him? I don't get that. I still don't understand that because he went to Boston and they won a ring the next year.
To be
Or the
on their
year
way
after,
to
whatever
winning
the-
multiple
however long it
championships.
was.
But despite the Bucks' success in the regular season, still remaining one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, since that championship, they haven't made it beyond the second round of the playoffs, and in fact would suffer embarrassing losses in the first round, one of which they were the number 1 seed with the best record in the NBA and losing to the 8-seeded Miami Heat in just 5 games. Yes, injuries have played a part of it in the Bucks failing in the postseason, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is supposed to be a contending team with one of the largest
Dunked on that
payrolls
nigga.
in the NBA with 2 superstars, is falling wildly short of expectations, and dare I say it, could be on the brink of collapse and blowing this whole thing up after making all-in moves to acquire an aging superstar in Damian Lillard. How bad could it get for the Bucks? Well, let's talk about it. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to help the channel grow, and in return, I'll be providing more NBA content like this. Now, when Giannis...
All right, let me say this real quick. Dame really should have just thugged it out in Portland, bro. Because now he done went to the Bucks and this shit ain't working. So he not only is he not finna get a ring, he not finna get them M's like he would have if he would have stayed in Portland. Because when you stay in a team for that long, they got to give you them M's. They got to give you that bag. You know what I'm saying? So like, he should have stayed in Portland at this point because he not finna win a ring here, and they finna get rid of his ass. So where he finna go next? That's finna help him get a ring. Thank you so much.
last offseason, the summer of
Nowhere.
2023, publicly
He
came
might
out
be
and
done.
said that he would not be signing an extension with the Bucks until he has assurances that everyone from the top down of the organization was on the same page and aligned
And then they got fucking Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. Like, I don't get it,
in
bro.
their approach and focused on winning a championship. The Bucks knew right then and there they were at risk of losing their superstar unless they made aggressive pushes to show they mean business in bringing back a title to Milwaukee. And while so much focus that offseason was on Damian Lillard and where he would end up, namely the Miami Heat, as Dame said he wouldn't play anywhere but in Miami, the Bucks swooped in and made an all-in move to land their superstar point guard to pair alongside Giannis and trade 1 unprotected first-round pick and 2 first-round pick swaps, as well as Grayson Allen and Drew Holiday, mortgaging their distant future as the picks being traded weren't until the 2028 draft, mortgaging that future for Damian Lillard, who at the time was 33 and on a supermax contract paying him all the way through age 36. And while most would
he was
agree
already
that
on a
Dame
supermax. Never
is a
mind.
superior player to Drew Holiday to replace him for that starting point guard role, what the Bucks failed to neglect was just how much they would lose on the defensive end by moving on from Drew Holiday. The Bucks would go from being a top 5 defensive team in the league to 19th in just 1 season, completely losing their defensive identity and being lost on that end of the floor. So of course, they fired their newly hired head coach in Adrian Griffin halfway through the season because they looked lost on D. Even despite the fact that they were 33-13 under his leadership, they bring in Doc Rivers to fix the team's issues on
And they bring in Doc Ashy Voice Rivers. Why would you hire Doc Rivers out of all people? Then they went and got Donut Head Darvin Ham. Like, Doc Rivers and Donut Darvin. Like, what the hell are we doing? You feel me? Bro, Doc Rivers ain't won a championship since 2008. And we still act like he just one of them great coaches just because he won that ring back then. Bro, have you not seen his track record since 2008, bro? It's been fumble, Clippers, fumble. Shit. Every team is a fumble, bro. He lose every time, bro. Doc Rivers is not the coach that we think he is. He's not that good. He's just not that guy. I'm sorry. I haven't seen Doc Rivers do nothing, bro. Every time he get there, it's a fumble. He dropped the ball. He'll get up in the playoffs, lose every single time, bro. And we keep hiring him. How does he keep getting these jobs? How? Somebody gotta tell me that. How does Doc Rivers keep getting these jobs, bro? He not doing shit. And then you got Donut Head Darvin, who just got fired. He got picked up on the Bucks. That's like the worst combo in all the that's the worst combo in all the coaching. No cap.
Defense
What are
and
we doing?
establish an identity to bring them back into the fold and be a top contender in the league.
The
all
hell?
but to finish out the season with a losing record under Doc and the defense more or less remaining the same. And the thought was, all right, well, give Doc a full offseason training camp with these guys and they should be good and right back to being one of the best teams in the East going into the 24-25 season. Well, for anybody who has even seen just one game of the Bucks play so far this year, you'll see they simply put are just not a good basketball team. And yes, I realize they are without Chris Middleton for the moment, but they still have their two best players in Giannis and Dame, and have honestly looked even worse from what we saw last year. Their transition defense is terrible. It remains one of the worst in the league. Their perimeter defense is bottom 5 in the NBA, currently allowing more three-pointers than any other team in the league by volume. They commit silly fouls when defending a drive to the basket by their opponent instead of just, playing good quality defense to deter a shot. They rarely force turnovers. In fact, they're 28th in the league in turnovers by their opponent. They don't move the ball well. They don't get downhill in transition like they used to.
Drew Holiday loving the Celtics, boy.
And while the Bucks dating back to last season looked lost on defense, that still remains the case today, but even worse is they now look lost on the offensive end than they ever have before. Guys missing assignments on switches, not cutting the basket, unforced turnovers, little ball movement. The guys look frustrated when they're out there on the court, they're not playing for each other, and it's palpable that this just isn't working. And look, I know it's very early on in the season, I know it's a small sample size, but this does not appear to be something that can easily be fixed. Even just bringing Milton back into the fold, that doesn't suddenly mean the Bucks are going to turn things around and they start looking like contenders again. No, the Bucks' biggest problem is they just look very old out there. And even though the Bucks were the oldest team in the league by age last season, they got a little younger and are now 7th oldest in the NBA, they still struggle to keep up in playing modern, high pace and space style NBA offense. They struggle to keep up with younger teams in the league despite having superior talent. They look gassed by the end of games. Like I mentioned before, their transition defense is one of the worst in the league. So when they go up against a team that likes to play fast, which is how a lot of teams play today, they fail to keep up. Like the Bucks should not have lost to the Chicago Bulls or the Brooklyn Nets in the early going of the season. Let's be real. To younger teams that aren't going to be in a position to win much of anything this season.
At all.
But the Bulls and Nets won those games by attacking the Bucks, moving the ball quickly, getting out on the perimeter, and wearing them down by making the Bucks work on every possession to keep up with the ball. Get them tired. Teams are just overwhelming them with pace, plain and simple. Like even if the offense is a little sloppy, they're missing shots, whatever, just play fast and get shots up quickly. Get as many points as you can.
Look at Ben Simmons' trash ass. Look at Ben Simmons.
Whatever, just play fast and get shots
Ben
up
Simmons, you trying to hide under the radar and shit like we don't see how bad you are, bro.
quickly.
You
Get as
fucking
many points
terrible.
as you can to the quickest amount of time.
On your
and
ass,
it will
bro.
wear down the Bucks eventually. That's literally what the Bulls and the Nets did in their matchup against the Bucks. They knew they wouldn't be able to match up with the talent level of Milwaukee, but they can just beat them at their game by taking advantage of their age. Like even though it's only a handful of games, this is a wild stat to me where thus far at the time of this recording, the Bucks are averaging 82 shots per game, while their opponent is getting up 93. They're 29th in the league in field goal attempts and 27th in the league in field goal attempts at the hands of their opponent. You're not going to win many games if you're getting up 10 less shots in a game than your opponent is unless you're incredibly efficient from the field, which the Bucks are not. They've been solid in the paint, mainly because of Giannis, but horrendous anything outside of it. Floaters, mid-range jumpers, the three ball, all of it. And look, unless the Bucks are somehow able to completely change their shot profile and somehow figure out their transition defense or get younger by way of making trades, I really don't see how this team is going to improve. Yes, they're still going to make the playoffs. They're not going to remain in the lottery like they are in the standings right now, but I can't say with a convincing face that this is still a contending team. I see a first-round exit at best for the Bucks, and that's even if they are fully healthy. I honestly would not be shocked if we see a completely revamped, overhauled roster of the Milwaukee Bucks by next season, where they go on a fire sale in the offseason should things really go south, which Yes, would include the Bucks moving on from their franchise player, a player they drafted over a decade ago in Giannis Antetokounmpo. I would love to hear what you guys think, though. Let me know
Yeah,
in the
bro. They need
comments.
to
As
go and let
always, be
Giannis
sure to
go, man. He need to go
subscribe,
to the
and
Golden
I'll
State
see you
Warriors,
in the
bro.
next one.
Telling you, send Giannis to the Warriors. Watch what happens. Get rid of Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers and watch what happens, bro. You heard it here first.